Hello. I just wanted to make a quick video. Well, hopefully it'll be a quick video about how this roll animation script works, and I will be comparing it to um, traditionally animating a rolling ball along a spline to doing it with my script. So we'll start in the traditional method. First of all, you're going to want to go to your constraint or animation tab, constraints, path constraint, and that should make your ball follow the path, but that doesn't look very natural and it's not rolling yet. So first, get this script thing out of the way, you're going to want to make it follow, and that will make the ball change its direction in the direction of the path. You can really tell there and here. And then you're going to want to find the length of the path, which is 2039 point some numbers, 037. And then you'll want to find the diameter of your ball, which is 72.06, and you'll multiply that by pi, and then you'll divide that number by the length of the spline, and then you'll multiply that number by 360 to get the amount of degrees that your ball needs to rotate to travel along this path accurately. Luckily I've already done that, and this is how many degrees it has to be. And you can check my math if you want, or you can just wait until I copy this number into its Y rotation slot and see that it rolls nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the end frame here, switch it into my rotation controllers, make sure that it's on local, and I'm just going to give it a turn. Oh, actually, I'm going to set auto key on first and give it a turn, and then I'm going to go into my graph editor and go to the Y rotation, grab the last point, and stuff that number that I came up with before by doing all that math. And then I'm going to set these to linear because it's following along a path, and by default the path percentage is a linear travel, so it moves linearly along the path, so it has to roll linearly around the path to be accurate. And this is our ball rolling along a spline or curve, and it moves pretty nice, and that might be good enough for some, but it's not good enough for me. Now that didn't take too long, but it took a little bit longer than this will. So it's going to start out the same way. Constrain, path constrain, and move it to here, and right now this is what we have. But the difference is I'm going to use this little script that I made, and I'm going to pick this. I'm going to set its shape to sphere. I'm going to set the start frame to 0 because that's where we're starting, and I'm going to set the end frame to 400 because that's where this animation ends. And I'm just going to hit animate roll. And there we go. I'm also going to turn auto key off so I don't mess anything up. So you can see that the balls both look pretty good rolling along the surface, but this is using an Euler rotation, and this is using a Quaternion rotation method. And where this Euler method breaks down, it looks pretty nice going along this nice smooth curve here. But when it comes to this little sharp guy here, you'll see that this kind of looks like an unnatural. Like a ball would never do that and pivot on that one point to turn this, basically one point, to turn that curve or that corner. And then, yeah. So compare this motion here to this motion here. You can see that this is a much smoother and more, well, it's perfectly realistic to how a ball would actually move if very unnatural thing for a ball to do, since there's no outside forces acting on it. But yeah, so that's my rolling script. Hope you like it. I'll actually, let's do it right now. If I just grab a box, I can show you a little bit more about how this thing works. So we'll grab a box here, and we'll set its pivot point to be centered, and then we will, and let's hide these spheres and lines. So we'll just do one axis for right now. We'll from 0, let's just go to 200, and I'll auto key and put this to here. So this is the direction that it goes, or the animation that it has between those 2 points, between that and 200. So we'll set this to 200 since that's our last frame, and we'll select our box, and we'll say animate. Well, actually, let's do it as a sphere first, and then I'll show you the difference, I guess. So we'll just animate that, and that animates this box like it thinks it's a sphere. Doesn't look terrible, but it's going through the floor and stuff. We don't really want that. So what we'll do is we'll delete the rotation keys between 200 and 0 that we have set here. We'll just delete those. And now we're back to just this sliding thing. And we'll switch this to box because we're like, oh man, I forgot, or whatever. I don't know. And then we'll just hit animate roll here. And as you can see, this one doesn't allow it to go through the surface. And this, I believe, would be pretty hard to animate by hand. So I think that this is pretty cool. I'm working to get it to do other shapes like egg shapes. It's a little bit more involved, I guess. My phone's going off. So yeah, let's delete all the keys, and we'll show you how this thing kind of, it looks a little weird, but we'll set auto key on, and we'll set this in just kind of give it, is auto key not on? So I think there's a bug in Max where auto key kind of turns off. Oh, actually, I know what it is. I had it turned on, and this script turns it off, but for some reason it doesn't update when you turn it off through script. I don't know why. But anyway, turn this off and put it back to this corner. And auto key 80 to like here, 160 to here, or whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter where they're going. So that's what, 220, and this is the path that it's going to take. So we'll set it to box, set this to 220. We don't want to accidentally delete anything, so we'll turn those off. And we'll hit animate roll. So this won't allow any of the points to go through the surface. Well, kind of does a little bit there. So this might, I honestly don't know what you would use this for. Maybe if a ball or a box was falling out of a truck or something. I'd be tempted to just use physics in that case, but maybe you just don't want to deal with rigid bodies or something, and you just want a quick thing. Then you could use this, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. That's the script in its entirety at the moment. yeah, the only difference between the sphere and the box shape is the box, or the sphere one only does rotation. So you can see here that I've got some multiple keys, and that's because the box lays down keys for both rotation and position, because it's changing the Z axis of the box as well, obviously, to keep it above the plane. And the sphere, if it's a perfect sphere, then it doesn't change the Z axis because it should never fall below the plane. Yeah, so that's the script. Yay! Hope you liked it.